Today we're tackling an essential yet often overlooked aspect of the people pleaser syndrome, the intriguing gap between intent and perception. Why is there sometimes a disconnect between what a people pleaser aims to achieve and how it's perceived by others? Let's pause for a moment and think about this. Many people pleasers genuinely believe they're acting in the best interest of others. They often think, if I'm kind, I'm accommodating, and selfless, surely others will recognize and appreciate my intentions. Yet, the reality can sometimes be far from this expectation, right? So, what is that perception of people pleasing? While the intent may be rooted in kindness or a desire to avoid conflict, the perception might be of passivity, lack of confidence, or even inauthenticity. And this disconnect can lead to misinterpretations of a people pleaser's actions by others. So, I want to talk about the manipulative aspect of people pleasing. So if we look closely at ourselves when we're interacting in this way, we're actually being quite manipulative in an icky way. Remember, I say this with zero judgment, as I have been this people-pleasing nice girl before. I fall into this pattern from time to time. I get it. I'm there with you. We often use our willingness to please others as a guise for trying to get what we want out of them. And the truth behind our actions is that if we think about it, if we go above and beyond for someone, it's not just because we want them to feel loved and appreciated. It's because we want to feel loved and appreciated for being the ones who acted so selflessly. And this is a very slippery slope to looking clingy, needy, and creepy. So, you might be, your wheels are turning here. You might see how this creates codependent relationships as well. So when we try to manipulate people into liking us, needing us, or seeing us as someone they can depend on beyond what's reasonable, we're actually inviting people to be highly dependent on us. In other words, we're attempting to create codependent relationships that make us feel secure by enabling someone else to rely too heavily on us. Yes, I know, that's an icky truth. So the self-diminishing cycle here, when we put our own needs and desires on the back burner to prioritize the needs of someone else, we're showing them and ourselves that we aren't worthy of having our wants and needs. This belittles us, setting an example of how others should treat us. They will follow whatever example we set for how we expect to be treated, which starts with how we treat ourselves. So how can we have some empowerment through healthy relationships? Now, this isn't to say that we should be cold and uncaring about other people's experiences when in relationship with us. We are here to be in relationship where we can love and support each other. But it's imperative that we discern the difference between putting others before ourselves and ensuring that we are prioritizing our needs and our desires first. So let's talk about engaging with our inner people pleaser. So as we continue further, we will deepen our ability to stand in our personal sovereignty. And today we're going to take a very honest look at ourselves to see if we can recognize this secretly manipulative part inside of us that surfaces as the people pleaser nice guy. We are not going to criticize ourselves for having this part on board. That will only make it tougher for us to actually integrate it, which is our ultimate goal. So let's discuss befriending the people pleaser within. So we want to befriend this people pleaser part of us, get curious about it, get curious about its origins, and understand what it truly needs. This is the only way to balance this part out so that it doesn't show up, make us seem creepy, needy, like a doormat, so that it doesn't show up in volatile or creepy ways, okay? So let's get into dialoguing with your inner people pleaser. So we're gonna dive deep here into an exercise that may feel a bit unconventional at first, but it is incredibly powerful for uncovering deep insights about our people pleaser tendencies. This method involves speaking out loud, yes, out loud to ourselves, and engaging directly with the part of us that always tries to make others happy at our own expense. So first, please take the time to find a quiet, comfortable space right now. Do not procrastinate this. You found this video, it's time for you to do the work. Let's do it. So find a quiet, comfortable space, pause the video if needed to get there, where you're not going to be disturbed, right? This could be a secluded part of your home or maybe a serene spot outdoors. have your journal and a pen ready, and you are going to be documenting this internal conversation as it unfolds, so you want to make sure you're prepared for that. Okay, so begin by sitting comfortably, closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths, just settling in, and allow yourself to relax and center your mind with those deep breaths. Good. So now just visualize the people pleaser part of yourself sitting across from you as if you were in the same room with it. There it is, just in front of you. And imagine this aspect of you as a separate entity, like outside of you now, with its own personality. It's got its own emotions. And I want you to just notice now, with that beautiful creative mind of yours, what does it look like? What does that people pleaser part look like sitting there in front of you? How does it carry itself? What does its mood seem like in this moment? What do you notice about it? How could you describe it as you observe it? Okay, and observing these details can help you understand the nuances of this part of your psyche. So that's why we are slowing down with this part of the practice. Okay, so now once you feel ready, I want you to address this part of yourself out loud as if it's sitting there in the room with you. And I want you to start by acknowledging its presence and its intentions. So you can say something like, "Hello, I know you've been working hard to protect me and ensure that I'm liked and appreciated. I see you and I want to understand you better." Good. And now you're going to proceed by asking it questions to unearth the motivations behind your people-pleasing behavior. So here are some prompts you might want to use. You might ask, "I know you're here to protect me. What are you protecting me from?" So you can try that one on and really listen to the answers with no judgment, just allowing whatever comes through to come through. Might not even come in words, might just be feelings. Okay, and let's ask it this. What do you want from me? I'm really curious. What do you want from me? People pleaser part. And when you feel ready, you could ask it, what do you need from me? And this one, you may want to sit with a little longer. What do you need from me? Because that is a hard question. It has to figure out what does it need from you. Once you feel like it's answered that, ask it, how will you feel if you get what you need? How will you feel if you get what you need? It might show you this visually. It might show you the sensation in a somatic way that you can sense through your body. Take note. So I want you to allow each of these questions to sink in and listen very attentively to the responses. I want you to remember that these answers might come in the form of emotions, thoughts, physical sensations. You might feel it in the body. I want you to notice that. Do you get a tight throat? Do you feel achy in your back, stomach churning? Whatever it is, whatever arises, acknowledge it, write it down in your journal without judgment. So after you've asked these questions, I want you to take the time to now close your eyes again, envision the people pleaser part there in front of you in the room again, and actually thank the people pleaser part for sharing with you. So you might say, "Thank you for your honesty and for helping me see our patterns more clearly. I'm here to work with you, not against you." This is really you giving this part of you the gift of expression. You are becoming its voice because it can't speak through you without the volatile, reactive way it's been showing up. So this is a beautiful, more healthy way to communicate with it, for it, so that it gets its needs met in a healthy, balanced way. So to conclude this exercise, take a moment that you're going to use your journal too with this to just reflect on what you've learned from this dialogue. Write that out. Write down any new insights or feelings that emerged during this conversation with your people-pleasing part, and note how understanding this part of you changes your perception of your people-pleasing habits. Maybe you can notice more grace or forgiveness there. Maybe you can notice that this part feels really young and probably was built at a very young time in your life. It's trying to protect you from things that maybe you don't need the same amount of protection from today that you did then. So there can be a lot of forgiveness there, a lot of grace for yourself, and love for this part that is doing its damnedest to help you, protect you, get you acceptance and love. And you're now the adult conscious person who's going in and saying like, all right, let's make some adjustments here so we can better balance these things out so that your needs can get met and so that my needs can get met. And I know it feels weird to kind of separate ourselves into parts sometimes, but we really are made up of all these different aspects, and it's a matter of figuring out how to integrate them so that we feel more whole, more unified. And this is a beautiful way to allow that to happen for ourselves. All right, so ask this, while you're journaling out this last piece and you're asking yourself, how does understanding this part of you change your perception of this people-pleasing part and the people-pleasing habits? Also ask yourself, are there new strategies that you might employ to balance your own needs with your desire to help others? Because the desire to help others is not innately a bad thing. This is a wonderful thing. We are here to be of service as well, but we must meet our own needs first. Otherwise, we can't fill the cup of others before we fill our own, right? The old saying. So ask yourself, are there some strategies that you can employ, creatively come up with right now to balance your own needs with your desire to help others? That's a really good question to ask yourself. So take some time with that. All right, well done. So this exercise is not only about gaining insights, but also about beginning to shift the dynamic within yourself. It empowers you to start setting boundaries and advocating for your own needs with the same vigor you've used to attend to others. All right, so resume your day with a renewed sense of understanding and a commitment to integrate these insights into your daily interactions. I want to just let you know that you can be sure that if you have gone along with this video and actually done the practice here, you have just done some deeper work than most will do in an entire lifetime. So kudos to you. And I want you to please just take time today to digest the work you did before moving on. Drink some water, give yourself some rest. This is huge. It is major that you're showing up for yourself in this way and doing this work. I can't wait to see you again in the next video.